Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most significant philanthropy stories of 2025. Today, we're exploring Bill Gates' massive $200 billion donation pledge and his sharp criticism of Elon Musk. This is a story of wealth, responsibility, and a heated public feud. Let's break it down step by step, starting with the big announcement. On May 8, 2025, Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, made headlines around the world. He pledged to give away $200 billion through his charitable foundation by the year 2045. This is one of the largest philanthropic commitments in modern history. Gates, who is 69 years old, also announced that the Gates Foundation will close its doors on December 31, 2045. This is a major shift from his original plan, which was to keep the foundation running for decades after his death. So why the change? And why is Gates calling out Elon Musk in such a public way? To understand this, we need to look at the Gates Foundation and its mission. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was founded in 2000 with a focus on global health and poverty reduction. Over the past 25 years, it has given away more than $100 billion. This money has funded vaccines, disease eradication programs, and efforts to improve education and agriculture. One of its proudest achievements is helping to cut childhood deaths from preventable causes by nearly half between 2000 and 2020. That's millions of lives saved through partnerships with organizations like Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. Gates believes this new $200 billion pledge will build on that progress. He wants to eradicate diseases like polio and malaria and reduce global poverty even further. But there's a catch. The world is facing some serious challenges. Many wealthy countries, including the United States, are cutting their foreign aid budgets. These cuts are threatening decades of progress in global health and development. And this brings us to the heart of Gates' criticism of Elon Musk. Gates has accused Musk of killing the world's poorest children through his role in slashing U.S. foreign aid. This is a bold and provocative statement. So let's unpack it. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, is currently the world's richest person. His net worth is estimated at $1 billion, far surpassing Gates' $108 billion. Musk has taken on a new role under the Trump administration. He's leading the Department of Government Efficiency, nicknamed DOGE. This department is tasked with cutting government spending and streamlining operations. One of its biggest moves was to gut the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. USAID is the federal agency responsible for distributing foreign aid around the world. In 2023, it spent $44 billion on programs like healthcare, clean water, and food assistance. But in February 2025, DOGE effectively shut down USAID, cutting about 80% of its programs. This has had devastating consequences, according to Gates and other critics. Gates says these cuts could lead to millions of additional deaths over the next few years. He points to specific examples, like cancelled grants to a hospital in Mozambique. This hospital was working to prevent HIV transmission from mothers to babies. Gates claims the cuts were based on misinformation, like a false belief that the U.S. was funding condoms for Hamas. He says this could lead to a resurgence of diseases like HIV, measles, and polio. Gates has been vocal about the human cost of these decisions. In an interview with the Financial Times, he said, "The picture of the world's richest man killing the world's poorest children is not a pretty one. This isn't just a policy disagreement. It's personal." Gates and Musk have a history of clashing over philanthropy and wealth. Back in 2010, Gates, along with his ex-wife Melinda and Warren Buffett, founded the Giving Pledge. This is a commitment for billionaires to give away at least half their wealth during their lifetime or in their wills. Musk signed the Giving Pledge in 2012, but his giving has been minimal. According to Forbes, Musk has donated less than 1% of his wealth, about $620 million through 2023. Gates, on the other hand, is giving away 99% of his fortune. He says he's inspired by Andrew Carnegie's 1889 essay, The Gospel of Wealth. Carnegie argued that the wealthy have a duty to return their fortunes to society. Gates quotes Carnegie saying, "The man who dies thus rich dies disgraced, This philosophy drives Gates' decision to accelerate his giving. He wants to ensure his wealth is used to solve urgent problems now, not decades from now. But Musk sees things differently, and he's not staying silent. In response to Gates' criticism, Musk posted on X, calling Gates a huge liar. Musk has also dismissed philanthropy in the past, reportedly calling it bulls. In a 2022 meeting with Gates, he's argued that his focus on projects like colonizing Mars is his way of saving humanity. Musk's defenders like Doge spokesperson Harrison Fields call him a patriot. They say he's working to eliminate government waste and support American taxpayers. But Gates argues that cutting USAID is a mistake with deadly consequences. He's not alone in his concerns about the state of global health funding. The Gates Foundation CEO Mark Sussman says the world is facing its toughest political and economic headwinds since the foundation began. Other countries like the UK and France are also reducing their aid budgets. This creates a massive funding gap that philanthropy alone can't fill. Gates has warned the White House that his foundation can't replace government support. He's even met with President Trump multiple times to discuss global health. In one meeting in February 2025, Gates expressed concerns about the USAID cuts. Trump reportedly sounded supportive of HIV programs, but the cuts went ahead. This has left Gates frustrated but determined to act. His $200 billion pledge is a direct response to these global challenges. The Gates Foundation plans to spend $9 billion annually by 2026 and $10 billion after that. This money will come from the foundation's $77 billion endowment and Gates' personal wealth. It's a massive bet on humanity, as some have called it. But it's not without controversy or criticism. The Gates Foundation has faced accusations of wielding too much power. Critics say it influences global health policy without enough accountability. For example, its role at the World Health Organization has raised eyebrows. Gates himself has been the target of conspiracy theories, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Some falsely claimed he was using vaccines to control populations. Gates dismisses these claims, but acknowledges the criticism of his foundation's influence. He's even invited more scrutiny, saying he wants people to challenge his work. In an interview with The Independent, he said, "We want more people second-guessing our work." He's asking for ideas on how to tackle malnutrition and funding cuts. This openness is part of what makes Gates' approach unique, but it doesn't change the fact that his feud with Musk is deeply divisive. On one side, you have Gates, a philanthropist giving away his fortune to save lives. On the other, you have Musk, a visionary focused on technology and government reform. Both men are shaping the future, but in very different ways. So, what does this mean for the world's poorest people? Gates' donation is a lifeline for millions, but it's not a cure-all. He's clear that private philanthropy can't replace government aid. The USAID cuts, for example, have left a $44 billion hole in global aid. No single foundation, not even one as large as Gates, can fill that gap. This is why Gates is so critical of Musk's role in the cuts. He believes the loss of USAID funding will reverse progress in reducing child mortality. A study in The Lancet warned that cuts to HIV programs could lead to 500,000 child deaths by 2030. That's a staggering number, and it's at the core of Gates' urgency. He sees his $200 billion as a way to keep the fight going, but he's also realistic about the limits of his influence. In interviews, Gates has said it's now up to Congress to decide the future of USAID. He's hopeful that governments will eventually prioritize child survival again. But for now, he's putting his money where his mouth is. The Gates Foundation's work over the next 20 years will focus on high-impact areas. About 70% of its budget will go to global health, 15% to education, and the rest to agriculture. In agriculture, the foundation is developing better seeds and livestock to boost nutrition in Africa. This is critical as climate change and population growth threaten food security. Gates is also excited about the role of artificial intelligence in global health. He believes AI can accelerate breakthroughs in vaccine development and disease tracking. These innovations are part of why he's optimistic about the next 20 years. But optimism doesn't erase the immediate challenges. The USAID cuts have already stopped food rations for 1 million refugees in Uganda. Medicines are expiring in warehouses because of halted programs. Gates says this is a stark reversal of progress that took decades to achieve. Child deaths dropped from 10 million to under 5 million annually since 2000. Now, Gates warns those numbers could rise again. This is the backdrop for his $200 billion commitment. It's a race against time to save lives and preserve progress. But what about the bigger picture? Why does this feud matter? Gates and Musk represent two opposing views on wealth and responsibility. Gates believes the wealthy should give back to society through philanthropy. Musk prioritizes innovation and efficiency, even if it means tough cuts. Their clash is a microcosm of a larger debate about global priorities. Should we focus on immediate human needs or long-term technological progress? There's no easy answer, but the stakes are incredibly high. Gates' donation could save millions of lives if used effectively, but without government support, its impact will be limited. Musk's cuts, meanwhile, could destabilize vulnerable regions. Experts warn that aid cuts can worsen humanitarian crises and even threaten global stability. This is why Gates is so passionate about his mission. He sees philanthropy as a moral obligation, not an option. His parents taught him that wealth comes with responsibility. This belief has guided his work for decades, but Musk's perspective challenges that view. He's betting on a future where technology solves humanity's biggest problems. Whether it's electric cars, space travel, or AI, Musk's focus is on innovation. He's less interested in traditional philanthropy. This difference in priorities is what fuels their public feud. It's also sparking a broader conversation about wealth and power. On X, reactions to Gates' pledge and Musk's cuts are mixed. Some users praise Gates for his generosity and criticize Musk's actions. Others defend Musk, arguing that government aid is often wasteful. One user wrote, "Gates is putting his money where his mouth is. Musk is just cutting corners." Another said, "Musk is right. USAID was bloated. Gates can't save everyone." These debates show how polarizing this issue is. At its core, it's about what we value as a global society. Do we prioritize saving lives today or building a future for tomorrow? Gates and Musk are both trying to make the world better in their own ways, but their methods couldn't be more different. As we look to the future, Gates' $200 billion will undoubtedly make a difference. It will fund vaccines, improve schools, and feed the hungry. But the question remains, will it be enough? Without global cooperation, the challenges are daunting. Musk's cuts have shown how quickly progress can unravel. Yet Gates remains hopeful, driven by a belief in human values. He told Reuters, "The world does have values. That's what my parents taught me. This story is far from over and the world is watching." Will Gates' donation change the course of global health? Will Musk's vision reshape how we think about aid and efficiency? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The choices made by these two billionaires will shape our world for decades. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and share. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and keep questioning.